Hi, Mike Matchett with Small World Big Data, and we are here talking about one of my favorite things, which is big data. That's why we call the company Small World Big Data. We have seen the changes over the years from these massive applications and open source things like Hadoop and Cloudera and things turn into kind of a race to enable machine learning. This is really how do we get all of our data from all different sources, get it together, get it extracted, feed that machine learning. And we learned a couple things about our data being all over the place and being hard to get together and feed that machine beast without using an awful lot of different componentry, each of which requires a dedicated skill set. Well, this requires a solution that can really unify everything together in some kind of, dare I say it, hyper-converged way. We've got Isima today back with us. Darshan, welcome.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me on the show.
So I sort of teased hyper-converged, which is a word we use here in the IT space to talk about things like Nutanix, where we take software-defined resources in terms of storage and networking and put them on the same box. You at Isima tend to use that phrase to talk in an analogous way about how you brought together an awful lot of what goes on in a data pipeline or a data middleware and bring it into one spot. Maybe you could tell us what the vision of Isima is and maybe a little bit about yourself and how you got interested in that problem.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So let me start with the latter half, which is my background. So I have 2 decades of experience in the Valley. I deployed my first machine learning classifier at Yahoo in 2006, before the word big data and Hadoop existed. And I've been looking for teams to deploy this. And the genesis of Isima is that we are getting the haves and the have-nots between, especially for machine learning and AI. You know, the top 25 companies in the world can deploy machine learning at scale, but the rest of us are the rest of us, right? And the whole zoo of vendor ecosystem has spawned around it to solve one point problem. And we believe that doesn't work because the machine learning has to deliver some ROI, you know, and to do that, you need to start with efficiency as a #1 game, efficiency of bits and bytes and efficiency of humans. And Isima is the company which is doing both of them effectively through our product BIOS.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about BIOS. BIOS, right? So the implication is that you've got some operating system now that brings everything together, but it's also a BIOS in itself, right? So you've kind of this little, I'm assuming a play on words there to bring that. And your team you brought together has folks from backgrounds building databases, doing big data, machine learning pieces, doing even storage itself. You've got some storage experts on there. What does the BIOS do? I mean, it's a platform. What does it actually do, and where does it sit conceptually? If I'm looking at an IT architecture.
That's a great question. I think BIOS really sits in the middle. I like to think of this as the middleware for data, right? I mean,
okay.
If you go back 30 years, you had this land of OLTP databases and OLAP databases. They both used to run on infrastructure. It used to be VMware, and now it's AWS. And then there were a whole bunch of tools to build pipelines, to do data, you know, and now we have more tools for data quality, data observability, and whatnot. BIOS really sits at the center of these 4 quadrants. And provides a single hyper-converged real-time OLTAP system. Some people like to term it as HTAP system, hybrid transactional analytical processing system. And the only value it delivers is that it's the fastest path to make data use cases live. You could be a customer trying to make your marketing use case live with simple heuristics, or you could be somebody very mature trying to build a recommendation engine in production. Doesn't matter who you are, we deliver a single converged platform which makes data use cases live in a matter of days and weeks.
All right, so just to be clear, you're talking about middleware, but it's not replacing anything. It's not, if I already have an OLAP warehouse or data lake and I already have some OLTP stuff, maybe I have some NoSQL key value store things going on here, some real-time things going on here. You're not replacing those. But you're not exactly just layering on top of them either so how do you integrate with those?
That's a great question. So yeah, you don't replace what you have today because, you know, enterprises have a lot of investment. And so the way we work with systems is we connect to all of your systems, you know, whether it's files or real-time clicks on your app. We have connectors built in for all of them. And we literally sit on the side to make your forward-looking use cases live in days and weeks. And the idea is to not change anything that you have got, not create a cognitive overload on IT in terms of maintenance and management and going live, and get adoption through one use case at a time, right? And that's what we have been very successful with. And there are customers who, after 4 to 5 use cases, reach a tipping point where they say, you know what, I can clean up some of my existing mess, and I can consolidate it into BIOS. But that's almost like an outcome of an exercise of going use case by use case, as opposed to expecting customers to replace, because nobody want and nobody can replace. I mean, we have mainframes which are still live today in enterprises.
Right? So it's middleware in the sense that you can put this on top of things and not have to disrupt what's going underneath. But it's not exactly middleware in the case that it's its own platform for data and data serving, and the data can go into it, and then you do all sorts of cool things to index and bring together and do data governance and data management. And we'll touch on a few of those highlights in a second here. But the way I'm almost thinking of it is not exactly middleware, but what I might call, if I can coin a term, forwardware, where I'm looking at the front of the stack, the front of the evolution of what I'm doing, and I need a new solution there, taking some middleware integration capabilities, but putting something in the front that now can power new applications very quickly and very easily.
You got it. Yeah. So it's a platform in its own. It has its own storage, compute, and all these capabilities. So it's not a typical kind of virtualization.
It's not dependent on the lower layers, right? Exactly. But you can certainly make use of them. I think it's a little bit of a kind of a brain changing for a lot of people to think about. But I think when you start saying, hey, this can marry my OLTP needs, my OLDAP needs, some of my tool needs, some of my infrastructure needs, putting into one thing, and become, I think you guys refer to it as a lean stack, lean data stack of some kind, which is very cool. So what do people do with this? What does it enable? I mean, we talk about machine learning cases kind of broadly, but if someone has been struggling to do something before, what does this now accelerate?
Yeah, the most important value it delivers, it allows you to put use cases in production in a matter of days and weeks. And to do that, you have to look at these different functions that are required to be handled. You need data integration, you need data engineering help. We don't believe in zero code data engineering. We believe that there are helper functions, but there will always be place for ETL. You need a real-time indexing system. You need data ops observability. You do need a data catalog and data governance, and all of these aspects have to be put in place for you to make a use case live. And that's exactly what BIOS does. It converges all of these things in a lean stack, rather than trying to be feature compatible with everything out there. It's a lean stack to make these use cases live. So now that you have got this data platform which is converged, you can now start mining value out of data, right? One of the mistakes that people don't learn enough is that especially ML and AI is an experimentation game. I mean, experiments fail all the time. You probably fail at 100 experiments before you make one successful. What BIOS allows you to do is that the cost of experiments approaches zero, right? This is what one of our customers told us. And that really is the power of BIOS, that you have to keep on iterating and innovating. And it allows you to, as you rightfully put it, forwardware, for these use cases, which will drive meaningful impact for the business.
All right, how many folks does this really take to run? If I was going to try this out,
it takes 0 folks to run through our self-serve platform. It probably takes 1 Python engineer with 2 years of experience to make a use case live in a matter of 3 to 4 weeks. So yeah, it's really optimized on total cost of ownership to make use cases live.
I know a lot of Python, Darshan. Are you saying I could go in there and use this and in 4 weeks have my own use cases running?
Okay, I'm not going to say that, but I'm training an 8th grader who knows just basic Python.
I'm not going to say I'm smarter than an 8th grader. Yeah, you're right.
8th graders are smarter than us.
I know. I've got a 9th grader, and he's way beating me on a lot of things. Okay, ROI wise and cost wise, people are concerned with bringing in yet another platform, another product. How should we look at the sort of the value proposition of this?
That's a great question. I think, especially in the current times, IT is trained to do more with less. Everybody's trying to do more with less. And the way I try to position BIOS is that in the end, it's an 100x better, efficient, cost-effective, real-time data platform, right? And I think people don't believe us when we do that, which is why we go use case by use case. But customers over an adoption curve have realized that because we take a look at the whole architecture end to end rather than each incremental piece, we can deliver the promise, we can deliver upon the promise of a 100x better, efficient data platform from day one.
All right. And this is great. This, but it's, is this really prime time now? Is this something I can use for critical use cases, or is this, like you mentioned, experimentation before? Where are we on, using Isima and deploying it for, say, production and things?
We are in production today, serving 15,000 operations per second for 4 countries across 2 continents in a self-serve manner. These are live use cases, which if BIOS goes down, there is an impact to customer experience in real dollars. So not just as a backup system. So we have evolved, and we believe we are in prime time, especially to go live with these problems going forward.
All right, so production grade. I know that there are a lot of telco grade features built into this as well. You mentioned some deeper security things, some things encryption things, some RBAC and account auditing and things like that. Security is always important. What if someone though says, I've got these ideas for machine learning at my company. I've been trying to do this, to do these grandiose ideas, but I need some help on a bigger scale, and I assume you have some channel. Can you tell us a little bit about who you work with in terms of partnerships, or how's that shaping?
Great. So that was one of the paths that we decided, which is while we are going to focus on self-serve B2C customers, for enterprises, they need some help with hand-holding with a larger player. So we signed a co-sell partnership with a Fortune 50 player. Unfortunately, cannot use the name. We are one of the 4 data players who they have signed off, and they're going to do co-sell. So there's no longer a concern about trusting your problems to a startup like Isima. And we believe that for enterprises, especially because we work with telcos, we work with finance, we work with healthcare companies, they need the peace of mind for a multi-cloud, hybrid cloud story. And for them, we are going to work with the channel pair from a joint go-to-market perspective.
All right, so some big ways to get hold of this advancement and optimization and ways to address machine learning, whether you're a normal, if there is such a thing, B2C e-commerce kind of company with some grandiose ideas and not enough staff, or you're a large enterprise with like I said, telco grade requirements for manageability and data security, and want some more hand holding from somebody who's going to be there, knows your vertical. You've got that covered, which is great. One final thing there, Darshan. I know you guys have put a lot of work into this, and we've kind of done some hand waving here on what a data platform is. So some people might have some questions and want to dive in a little bit deeper and understand just what do you mean when you say you combine OLDAP and OLTP and tools, and where the boundaries are. What would you have them go look at to do a little bit more research, the next step?
It's pretty simple. Go to our website, isima.io, sign up over there. You can make a use case live. We have a freemium plan where it's the same production scale system. You can take a look at our pricing, and we have a free plan tier that they can get started with. No obligation, no charge. And you can look at the capabilities that free tier offers. That free tier and the premium tier are the same. So everything is on our website. Go to isima.io, sign up over there, make the use cases live by yourself, or reach out to us. I have a Slack channel for 10x data engineering that I host, and folks can join that Slack channel too. Again, available on our website.
All right, isima.io, in case you missed that. And it does sound like with the free tier, I can go do something. See, you were a little, I can go sign up and try this out and make my use case. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Stay tuned, folks. Check it out. Thank you, Darshan, for being here today. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Truly happy to be here.
And come on back with whenever you have some more news and want to tell us about some more great things on this. Maybe we'll have to do a deeper dive into what's exactly under the hood going on here, because there's quite a bit. But for now, take care, everyone, and come back soon.